Hello and welcome to episode 407 of the Mark and Me podcast. As always, I'm your host Mark. Now joining me on today's episode is Emmy Mack, the singer and songwriter from the awesome band RedHook. RedHook right now have just come back from a UK tour playing with actually a good friend of mine, Jesse's band Dream State, and the feedback has been absolutely phenomenal. So I'm thrilled that today I get to sit down with Emmy and talk in great detail about the awesome band RedHook. And the good news is, as you're listening to this right now, they've just released a brand new album. It's called Mutation. It's out there now for you to listen to. It's absolutely awesome. Every song is a banger. And I honestly believe that after today's interview, you should go and listen to it, buy yourself a vinyl, and then hopefully next year, if they come back to the UK, grab yourself a ticket because you will not regret it. And the interview with me and Emmy will be coming up in just a couple of minutes' time. I always like to use the intro for each and every episode of Mark and Me, just to quickly touch base and talk about my last episode. It was only 2 days ago, and it was with the actress Nikki Amuka Bird. And I just want to say now a massive thanks to everyone that took the time to listen. I'm so grateful as always. I've seen so many people sharing it. And my God, it was such a good interview, and it's so nice to sit down and talk to Nikki in great detail about her huge 30 years of acting in the film and TV world. But today it's all about Emmy Mack, and just before we start talking all things RedHook, is what I quickly want to do is give a shout out to the sponsor of Mark and Me, Vice Press. It's really close to Christmas, but there's still time to treat yourself to an amazing licensed print, some great artwork, some lovely collectibles from the great guys at Vice Press. The good thing is, if you use the code MarkandMe10, you will get yourself 10% off any of those presents you want to buy people. Or if you don't get the present you want for Christmas, treat yourself. Go and buy yourself an incredible horror poster or Back to the Future, Scott Pilgrim, The Thing, Star Wars. There's some great stuff on there, and I truly believe there's something for everyone. Right, let's get back to today's interview because it's a great one. Here's me and Emmy talking all things music. So Emmy, welcome to the Mark and Me podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm not feeling imposter syndrome at all.
No, that's good. And you are amongst a huge range of guests, and it's lovely to add you to it. And before we start recording today, we were just talking, and it's amazing that we've just missed each other because you were in the UK playing with good friends of mine, Dream State, which must have been unbelievable.
It was so much fun. Like everything about that tour. I mean, the only bad thing about the tour is I was very, very sick. And so for the start of it, I like had to separate myself from everyone because I didn't want to give them my germs. But I bounced back pretty quick, and all the shows were amazing. And touring with Dream State was just, I mean, like it says on the tin, it was an absolute dream. Like those guys are just dead set legends. We had so much fun with them, and yeah, and just so much fun, like on stage, but also off stage. Like it was just a really good vibe, and yeah, they feel very much like family after at the end of that tour. I miss them already.
I hope that at some point you can swap it and they can come over to you and do some shows. That would be amazing.
We've been talking about that. We really, really want to bring them over. So yeah, hopefully we can make it happen next year, because I know they've got a lot of fans here in Australia as well.
So what I do, Emmy, on this podcast is with all guests that come on is I always like to have a bit of a trip down memory lane. So I like to go back to the very start. And what I'm always interested in, especially with bands and singers like yourself, is that first album that you remember buying, maybe with your pocket money or maybe someone in your family gave it you. If it's embarrassing, let's have a hands up, be honest. But if it's in a classic album and it's something that we can brag about, let's go for it. But I am always interested in that first album that you had.
I don't know whether it might be a little embarrassing. The first album that I remember getting was it was a CD, and it was Guns N' Roses Live Era. which is like their live album with
Yeah.
all their songs on it. And I don't know why, I can't even remember why I wanted it. I just thought, I think I remember playing this Guns N' Roses pinball machine that played Welcome to the Jungle, and I was like, this song is the coolest thing that I've ever heard. And I just wanted to hear more of their stuff, and I just loved it. And that, because that was my first kind of like my first album, my first Guns N' Roses album, like to this day, there are so many songs that I like prefer the live versions of to the recordings.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, Appetite for Destruction as an actual produced studio album, when you think of Welcome to the Jungle, there isn't many songs as good as that to open an album. Like instantly, if you
Oh
heard
my
that playing
God.
pinball, like the hairs on your neck stick up. Like that is how you start. Like they should start every gig with that. They should start everything in life with that. It's just the ultimate. It's up there with like Smells Like Teen
It's just the
Spirit. It's
ultimate pop-up
unbelievable.
song. Like you cannot listen to Welcome to the Jungle and not feel like a total badass. Like it's
Exactly.
just not possible.
So what about live music then? So in the UK, I'm a bit older than you, but when I was a kid growing up, one of the first gigs my parents dropped me off for, and I was only like 12 or 13, was Green Day, and I got to see them on their Dookie tour, which was just
Oh.
fucking unbelievable because they're one of the best bands still to this day, and they're just legends in the actual industry. And to see them in such a small venue, but have such a power between the three of them at that point. Songs like When I Come Around, Basket Case, Longview, it was
Oh my God.
unbelievable. And I wondered, because that moment I knew I wanted to try and pick up a guitar and be in a band. I wondered what it was for you. Was there a certain first gig that you saw that was just up there with like the likes of Guns N' Roses for your first album?
Well, it's funny. The first gig that I saw, I was a bit of a late bloomer. Um, I grew up in like this small town in Australia, so we didn't get a lot of bands come through.
No.
Um, so the first, um, well, I mean the moment when I realized that I'm gonna sound like such an 80s geek, the moment that I realized that I wanted to be in a band was dressing up as Guns N' Roses and like playing at my like high school assembly. And
Please
it
tell me
was
there's a
just the,
video of this somewhere.
oh no, I hope not. I truly, truly hope not. It was so like looking back, it was like so cheesy, but everyone everyone else my age was like getting into emo and like loving My Chemical Romance and stuff when I was just going through this massive 80s phase, and I just wanted to be Axl Rose, and I was just like listening to Metallica and Skid Row and Motley Crue and just teasing my hair and wearing leather pants. Um so yeah, but in terms of like the first live gig that I ever went to was the Black Eyed Peas.
Amazing.
And they were really good. I didn't have any basis for comparison, so I thought they were sick.
No, to be honest, like they got overplayed, so the radio just destroyed them, and they were everywhere, and it was too much. And
Mhm.
that song, "Where Is the Love," was just fucking annoying
Oh,
in the end because it was just played to death. So everywhere you went, it was on, and I was just like, I couldn't be doing with seeing them anymore. And I was
yeah.
like, ugh, I can't be doing with this. But
You
I
get songs
appreciate
like
and
that, right, where
respect.
you
Yeah,
hear them. There are so many songs where like you might even start out liking it, but then it's overplayed so much that every time you hear it, it's just like urge to kill rising.
yeah, it's just that is on another level. My God, I can still hear the chorus now in my head, and I thought I got rid of it. So because of you now, it's
Now I'm
back.
so sorry.
My day
Triggering
is ruined,
intensified.
and my whole week is now ruined because of you. But
Quick
thanks
blast.
anyway.
Let's blast Welcome to the Jungle and
Oh,
all will be
yeah.
well.
I mean, we're talking a lot about Guns N' Roses, and we're only about 5 minutes into the interview, but they're such a legend. They're such a legend, like a legacy band, aren't they? They're just phenomenal. And the fact that they came back and they're still touring now, and there's not many bands that can really touch them.
Oh, totally. And especially when you think like, because there are other bands that are sort of at that level who have just been so much more, I guess, like consistent and just released so many more albums. But Guns N' Roses really, it's just Appetite and
Yeah.
then the Use Your Illusion double album,
I
and
know.
they're still. And I mean, they've. I don't want to like upset anyone, but like obviously they've released music since then. But it's just those two albums were just so incredible, and it was just like lightning in a bottle. Like at that moment in time, that they just became so iconic that they could, still tour all over the world and fill out stadiums in 2024. It's crazy.
It
I
is.
know. I'm sorry. I'm geeking out. I'm geeking out so hard about Guns N' Roses.
No, no, it's amazing, and I always forget that they don't have many studio albums. So when you hear like bands like the Beatles that have got that legacy, or the Stone Roses who have so many albums, and then you
Mm,
think of Guns N' Roses, you go and watch their show, and they might play 20 songs, but they're over 3 albums, like you said, maybe 4 with Spaghetti Instant, but there is extras. But my God, like they are. We saw them at Download here a few years ago, and
oh
they
yeah,
headlined, and it was just absolutely unbelievable. Like everyone in the whole festival was just at that stage. It wasn't like people were. You just knew there was a buzz the whole day about like this is something special. Axel and Slash are now friends
totally.
again. It's going to be a show, and they just came on, and no one else could touch them for the whole weekend.
Oh my gosh, they're just so larger than life. I think it's like I think it's rare now as well. Like when you look at a band like that, when like every single member is just, or at least every single key member is just so iconic. Like
Yeah.
it's not just, everyone's just there for the singer.
No, no,
It's
that's a
just
good
like
point.
Slash is like all of them, even like Duff, like
Yeah.
they're all just iconic in their own way. And you don't really see that as much now
No,
with
it's
bands.
true. What I wanted to know, so you've obviously had an amazing first experience with your music, with live music, you've had great, great times. At what point was it that you thought to yourself, actually, this is something I want to do? So, I'm sure it wasn't the Black Eyed Peas that made you want to be in a band.
No, it definitely wasn't the Black Eyed Peas. Yeah, I don't know. It was weird. Like I think I'd say like yeah, that moment at my high school assembly was like that was kind of the light bulb. Like, and just because that's the first time I used to, I used to be like a school choir kid, and sing
I can't
like
picture that. I just can't imagine it.
I was a little Catholic schoolgirl, and I was in the bloody church choir and all that jazz. I was little goody two shoes. And then like that moment of just yeah, like getting to like yeah, just dressing up like a badass 80s rocker, and then having the entire grade just run out and start moshing in front of the stage. I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. Like I want to do this.
Were your parents
And
and the other teachers like, what the hell has happened? You're meant to be a good little girl.
yeah, they'll like I think my parents are still a little bit like that, to be honest. They're like, you sure this music thing? Like, why don't you get a nice full-time job and
Yeah, this can be a
settle
hobby.
down? Yeah, yeah. It's like it's cool, mom. Yeah, I'm just touring Europe for 3 weeks. I'll be back soon.
Well, at least you're backing it up. At least they're not like panicking, thinking you're not going to make it. The fact you're getting to tour around Europe, you have another album coming out. You've got to work with some incredible artists. At least you've got something to back it up. You're not like terrifying your parents like you're just one person with a guitar, busking around the world.
Yeah, exactly. I still don't. I think they're slowly coming around. But my
Yeah.
parents are not very. Then neither of them are very big music people at all. So I just don't. And they're kind of boomers. Do you guys use the term boomers, or is that
No,
an Australian thing?
I have not
Oh,
heard it.
like
Unless I'm just not one of the cool
yeah.
kids. Maybe loads of the cool kids are using it, but I've not heard it.
It's like we call them like the baby boomer generation.
Okay.
It's like, um, but yeah, they're very much of they're just old. They're just old and like very and small town people, and I
Yeah,
love
kind of
them very
stuck in
much.
their ways. Yeah.
Very stuck in their ways. Very stuck in their ways.
So you're
But
telling
I
me
don't
about
know.
doing this school assembly, and there's a bit of a mosh pit, and it all kind of gave you that buzz and that kind of like, I don't want to fucking sing in a Catholic school group anymore. I want to actually let my hair down and rock out. Did
Yeah,
you
pretty
did you
much.
did you actually form a band quite soon? Do the whole Battle of the Bands, college sort of band, school bands, or was it a
We
bit
did
later
it.
on?
We did a few Battle of the Bands, and yeah, my first band, surprise, surprise, was a very 80s inspired metal band.
Of course it was, doing Guns N'
Um,
Roses songs.
we most definitely did some Guns N' Roses. We did like Metallica. I think we did some Megadeth.
That's some brave songs to
Um,
pick there. They're not easy covers.
it was like I just love. Well, my I had this guitarist who could. It's actually kind of funny. It's kind of the story of how RedHook started because I had this guitarist who was just like the craziest shredder.
Yeah.
He was just insane. And he moved interstate and there was just nobody who could play the way that he could play. Like the I just couldn't find anyone to play the songs. And so that's when the band started morphing and became, well, it was a slow transition, but like started to become RedHook. Was basically because I wanted to play like crazy 80s like metal with like lots of shredding guitar solos, but no, I couldn't find anyone to play it. So I had to change the vibe.
That's amazing. And that then literally became Red Hook.
Hmm.
So with Red Hook, did you have any expectations? Were you kind of just wanting to be in a band that was writing original music and not doing covers anymore? Or were you, I'm gonna fucking make this my full-time job. I wanna literally shoot for the stars.
I think it's funny, like with Red Hook, I think I just wanted to write cool music,
Yeah.
and I never had any expectations like whatsoever of where it would take me. Like I never was like this is going to be my career. Um, because you it's drummed into you that it's so hard to make it in music. So I just really wanted to give it a crack because it was fun.
Yeah.
And Red Hook was like we've had an interesting trajectory because pretty much when we released our first song, it was literally just Craig and I. Like we didn't even have bandmates when we dropped our first song. And we were just like, oh well, if we get live shows, we'll just get like some mates to like fill in. And then I think it was when we released our second single. It was just so strange. Like everything just kind of exploded for us
Yeah.
after that. I don't know. I think our second single, it's called Turn Up the Stereotype. And for some reason, it must have just been like good timing or something, or just like, I mean, it's a banger of a song. I'm still very proud of it. But yeah, we just had all of a sudden, we just had, the promoter of Download UK was in my DMs and wanting us to go over and play.
How
And we
cool
were
is
just a
that?
little, it was so cool. I thought I was being catfished to fuck, like I was like, I was like, sure, okay, yeah, yeah, you've got a stage for us at Download UK. Like this tiny little independent band from Australia with no team who's released two songs completely independently. And yeah, it was just crazy. And then we had like all these labels and industry in our DMs, and then everything just kind of like exploded. And I thought, oh shit, like maybe I could do this.
That's a really cool story to tell, really, because it doesn't always happen like that, does it? You can
Mm,
sometimes be, and it's with full respect, it's not luck because you've worked for it and you've got the songs to back it up, but there's sometimes being in the right place at the right time, or someone just hearing that song, and maybe if it's a promoter for Live Nation or Download that suddenly thinks, let's give these guys a chance.
mm.
It's sometimes fate, perhaps it's meant to be.
Yeah, I mean, I like honestly, like I do really do feel like that sometimes. Like it was and especially because there was definitely a few years there where it just felt like I was like beating my head against a brick wall, like, but just trying to find the right band members,
Yeah.
and because I just wanted to be in a band of people that were all on the same page and like wanted to work really hard and just all got along. And it was and that was really hard, and that's why in the end, like, I had these songs that I really believed in, But I was they were, the masters were in my Dropbox for at least a year, maybe two,
It's
before
crazy.
we actually released them. And in the end, it was more just kind of like I had zero expectations whatsoever. Like I just wanted to put the songs out. And like the fact that they just resonated so hard and caught the attention of like so many people who were in positions to give us a chance. That was, it was life changing. Like it meant the world to me. And like you said, like it's rare that stuff like that, I guess, kind of happens now. And I think actually, it's funny, I was talking to my guitarist Craig about this the other day, and we were sort of talking, like looking back on how it all started, and we thought, like, I feel like it really was a timing thing for us, because we just kind of missed out, or like I feel like we kind of just slotted in before like TikTok happened,
Yeah.
and like the whole landscape of the industry changed. Like I feel like now, like I don't know, like, but I feel like more and more like the vibe and the feedback I get from the industry is, people don't give you opportunities unless you've got like a million followers. You know what
Yeah.
I'm
No,
saying?
it's all about the numbers now. Even if you write the
It's all
best
about the
album ever.
numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I think is problematic. I saw this meme the other day, and it was like someone sent it to me, and I was just like, "Fuck!" Like so skewered. It's like born to make art, forced to make content,
It's so fucking
and I was just
true.
like, "It's
Yeah.
just so true. It's just so true."
It is frustrating. It means you can literally get an influencer who has, I don't know, 200,000 followers because it's not a negative, but they're attractive and they're just, they're quite flirtatious and they just want to get a lot of people following them. But then you've got someone who works so hard, writes lots of music, really tries to make a difference musically, but because they don't look a certain way or have a certain following or are out there kind of making this content, people ignore them. And that's like some of the best
Yeah,
songwriters must just,
it's heartbreaking. It's so
yeah,
heartbreaking, and I've heard someone said to me like, it's really a thing now with labels, and I mean RedHook, we've only just signed to a label for this album. We've been 100% independent for our entire career, and and this album is with a very,
Adventure Cat
um
Records, yeah.
Adventure Cat, yes, who we love and who share a very similar ethos to us. But I think like a lot of the feedback I'm getting is that, the bigger labels who are, you know, in positions to kind of give bands or artists these opportunities, they're much more likely to sign someone who's good at content and has a following, and then just hook them up with a producer to help them write songs and be an artist,
Because
rather
kind of the
than,
groundwork's already done for them, isn't it?
yeah, exactly, like rather than, find someone who's like genuinely talented and then like at songwriting, and then,
Yeah.
teach them how to make content. It's interesting. It's an interesting world we're living in right now.
Do you feel you're in the right place? I mean, you've got incredible numbers of streaming. You've got obviously the backing now for Adventure Cat Records for Mutation, and you are still self-releasing your music. You're still doing things how you want to do it, and like Dream State, you don't have this massive back it in. You don't have this massive back in and have this huge budget and people spending loads of money on marketing. It's all through hard work and kind of word of mouth.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really like, I mean, like I said, like going into this band with zero expectations to really get anywhere, and then all of the incredible experiences like that I've got and places that it's taken me, like, playing Download Festival twice now, and just coming, we just got back from Europe and the UK with Dream State, just getting to do stuff like that, like every single opportunity, um, like I never take for granted, because it's all, and that's the thing, you never know when it's going to end, or when, the whole scene's going to change. Spotify could just die tomorrow, and then there goes like all my income. You know what I'm saying? Not that you make a lot of
Of
Spotify, but
course.
but like,
It
and
keeps the
right
lights
now,
on,
like
doesn't it?
it does. I mean, like I'm in a position now because we own like 100% of our masters, and we've, told labels like until now to go fuck themselves
Yeah,
essentially. Like, I'm in a position where like, the like RedHook, like the original music that I've written is paying my rent.
yeah.
And that's something that I never ever dreamed would be possible. So it's yeah, I'm just really, really proud of how far we've come independently, and yeah, and anything more that comes from this is just going to be a bonus.
Are you looking at maybe download again in the future, or any festivals next summer,
Oh,
or
we would love to. We would love to. I think all the UK festivals are probably booked. They've probably
yeah,
got their lineups booked already, but we're hoping 2026, because I would
that would be
love,
awesome.
it'd be so good to come back and play Download. And also we had the extreme pleasure of playing Rock am Ring and Rock im Park in Germany back in
Wow.
2022, which is one of my favorite festivals that I've ever played, and would love to go back there as well. And yeah, I love festivals. They're my favorite. They're just like there's just I get so excited. Like the vibe is so infectious. It's always so much fun. And
It is.
yeah,
It's
so
it's what I do the podcast for. I already have my summer 2025 planned, and I'm at like
nice.
2003 Slam Dunk Download, Reading and Leeds,
Oh, you're doing it full circle. You're
Arc
basically on
Tangent.
tour.
Yeah, I do them all summer. There's not one I miss. And it's amazing because I just get to sit backstage, like with the press areas, and just interview my
Yes.
favorite bands, hang out with my friends in the industry,
Yeah,
and
and then
just
go to catering.
and the lineup, because they're all coming out at the moment. So Download just released theirs literally 2 days ago, and
Mm.
it's just incredible. Like Sleep Token, Corn, Green Day. It's just it's amazing.
So so good. If you get a chance, my mates from Sydney, Battlesnake, are on this year for the very oh next year for the very first time,
Okay.
and they're like a riot. If you like Guns N' Roses, watch Battlesnake.
Okay, I'll make a note. And
Yeah.
I always like discovering new music, even though the big boys are there and you can go and see Green Day, legends of the bloody
Oh my
industry.
goodness.
I like
Yeah.
the fact of going into a tent or a small stage and then discovering a new band that might be in the future a main stage headline.
100%, 100%. Festivals like that are so good for that as well, because you get so much. Like I get jealous. I think everyone in Australia gets jealous of the lineups that you guys get over there, because they are so good, and there is so much. Like there's almost too much.
Yeah,
Like and you get the clashes, and you're like, fuck. Like
it's
maybe
a
I'll like if I
nightmare.
I can catch 15 minutes of this band, and then I like run to the other side of the festival and catch the last 15 minutes of that band set. But then you miss all the songs that you want to see. It's hard.
It's real hard work, and you kind of have to like make this Sophie's choice. Like, do I see Thrice or do I miss them and then go and see Deftones? But I've seen Deftones before, and I'd like to see Thrice again. And you're just sitting there like,
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. And then I end up
Flip a
literally trying to
coin.
see the two. Yeah. What
Yeah.
interests me is obviously with the upcoming record, you're working with a hell of a good friend of mine, Lucas from Holding Absence.
Oh, Lucas, he's the best.
Absolute unbelievable guy, and genuinely Holding Absence is one of my kind of proudest exports to the UK and Wales,
Oh my
because that band
goodness.
are just incredible. And
They're
Lucas,
so
as a front
good.
man, his voice, his
He
stage
is a
presence,
freak of nature. Like
yeah.
he is that good. It's crazy. And like they're holding absence, like was it last year that they dropped their album?
I'm really rubbish with dates, but it feels like it was last year.
No, Noble Art of Self-Destruction. I think it was last year. That was like my favorite record. That's probably one of my favorite heavy albums that's been released in like the last 10 years, to be
Yeah,
honest.
it's
Like it
epic.
is just so good. And when we wrote Dr. Frankenstein, like I wrote it specifically with a male feature um in mind, and like Lucas was number one, like every like for all of us. We were just like, oh my God, like imagine. And we did not expect him to say yes. So when we hit him up and he loved the song and said he wanted to do it, like I was like doing, if I could physically do a backflip, I would have. Like it was insane.
Yeah.
And obviously, like he just crushed it so hard and just took that song to just like such another level. Like we feel so privileged to have his magic on one of our songs.
It's unbelievable. He's got this really unique voice as well. Like he's been in the UK fronting Funeral for a Friend, who've been going in the
Yes.
industry for like 20 years, and everyone was like, "Oh, he's never going to be able to do this." And some of the comments online were just cruel because no one likes change. And the moment he
Oh,
came on, like within 5 minutes of him singing, not one person questioned him ever again. He's
I
so
love that.
young. He's got so much ambition. He's so genuine, and I genuinely, I just absolutely love the guy. I can't
Oh.
praise him enough. So it's amazing to see that you got to work with him, and you just know that in 10 years that band will be headlining festivals.
And I feel like everyone will be rooting for them just because like Lucas is just such a G. Like he's just
Yeah,
I mean, I haven't gotten to hang out with him in real life, but we've spoken a lot, like over text and like voice messages and stuff. And
yeah,
he's just like he's just a legend,
he
just a
is.
straight up legend and a sweetheart. And he's just so kind
He's so humble
and
as well. I don't feel like
so
he has any idea
humble.
just how good he is.
Yeah. And like, I don't know, they're the kind of people you just want to see succeed,
Yeah, there's
especially
not
in the music
they're just
industry, because
lovely
there's,
guys. Yeah, and they just seem really.
yeah,
They seem like when I see them on stage, they're like young kids, and that's not because I'm a granddad. I just literally sit there thinking like they've got so much of a journey ahead of them, but they're already
yeah,
making absolute huge waves. So it's just exciting. It's one of those ones that you just know in 5 years will be like, do you remember that band when they were only playing small venues?
100%, 100%. And yeah, I hope we get to tour with them one day. That would be amazing.
I'd love that. And obviously, with the when as we're sat here right now, we're just under a week away of Mutation coming out for the world to listen to.
Hmm.
Are you nervous? Are you excited? Are you? It must be difficult because when you record an album, you sit on it for a while, don't you? You can't just release it the day it's mastered, and you must be like, I just want the world to hear it. And I know songs are out there and there's certain singles, but you must be like, I just want to hit the publish button now and let the world hear it.
I know it's getting, and I think that feeling intensifies kind of the closer you get
Yeah,
to release day. It's just kind of like I just want it to be out now. But yeah, to answer your question, definitely both. I always I think if I'm not a little bit terrified, then I'm probably getting too complacent
yeah,
because you know like it's there's a lot of, especially like as a as a songwriter, like a lyricist, like there's so much of like myself, like pieces of my soul like in all of these songs,
yeah, of course.
so which is always a very very scary thing to be putting out into the world. We've been very fortunate so far. Like I don't maybe it's just because we're not big enough, but we've never really copped any hate. Like, and I don't know, it might just be we're just very fortunate that our we've cultivated a fan base who are just extremely like just very open-minded and welcoming, and they know that we like to do some wacky stuff, and they they get around that. But yeah, but even so, like I still get very nervous. I am also very very excited. I'm excited to have it out. I just really really hope that people enjoy it.
And then obviously getting to then play. I don't know what your schedule's like, but surely then to hear people sing these songs back to you, to start playing new songs in a set. Obviously, I know you've got material from the previous albums and EPs, etc., but it must be always nice to have new stuff to play as a band because it's exciting. It's new, isn't it? There's a whole new dynamic. There's ways of getting those songs to work that have been recorded then to play live, and it's always new to it's always exciting to have new stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, totally. And it's interesting too. It's like the going from the rehearsing a new song in the jam room to then playing it live, like the reaction of the crowd makes such a huge difference.
Yeah.
Like there've been songs of ours that we've been in the rehearsal room and just being like, oh, like this feels a bit boring, or like this song just feels like a bit of a slog every time we play it. And then like it's like my least favorite song in the set. and then when you play it live and like having and with the reaction of the crowd, whether it's just like so many people singing along, or it's like, oh, like people are like getting, or they're, it's a circle pit song, or it's there's some energy that the crowd gives you that like it's like, oh fuck, I actually really love playing this song now.
That's
So you
awesome, though,
never
isn't it?
know.
How good
Like
is
that's
that?
always it's so good, and it's always such a you never know until you're up there playing it in front of people. Like you never know. The crowd makes such a difference, for better or worse sometimes.
How is the rest of, I mean, the year's nearly over now, but have you got stuff planned to try and promote this album as much as you can? Get out there, play these songs. Have you got some homecoming shows or local stuff to try and get involved in?
Yeah, well, like here in Australia, we're doing like this really, I'm actually so excited. So next week, we're just doing a bunch of launch parties on the East Coast,
Awesome.
and but we're not actually playing. So
Oh,
we're just
okay.
gonna be, yeah, we're just gonna be like it's just gonna be a
Partying.
big party. Like we're just gonna be hanging out. And they're kind of like they're all each one is themed um after a different song off the record. And the one in Brisbane, I'm really excited about because we're doing it at this like vintage, like retro arcade where we
Oh,
shot the Dr.
nice.
Frankenstein music video.
That's
So,
cool.
and so everyone's going to be there and like we're going to be like playing games all night, and it's going to be really, really fun. And we're doing like it's, I'm really excited about this too. We're doing like RedHook karaoke. So all the
That's cool.
fans are gonna get up and sing, and I get to be the one that gets to like sit back or like stand up and mosh along, but I'm not gonna be singing.
Wow. Think of the
Yeah.
pressure as a fan of your music then being like, right, I'm going to take on this song, sing it, but she's actually going to be watching me sing it. I'd be shitting myself. I'd be like, I am terrified.
I just cover my eyes.
Yeah, my God, the pressure for those fans. But that sounds like a blast. That's how bands should be doing, like mixing with fans, having drinks, partying, celebrating this new release,
Yes.
and just not
It's
having a
my
barrier.
favorite thing. It's like it's always it's one of my favorite things about, playing shows is like after you get off stage and then just getting to hang out and like and meet everyone, and there's never enough time.
No,
Like it's always I feel like security will always come and try and kick people out, and so I just thought, it'd be really nice just to have like a dedicated night just to do that and celebrate, without the pressure of having to play. And I'm really looking forward to it. It's gonna be really fun. But we've got a few other shows and like festival-y little things that we're doing in Australia for the rest of the year. But for release week, it's no plan, just hanging and celebrating and having some good times with the fans. I'm excited.
amazing. My final question for you today, Emmy. What I do with all guests that come on the podcast is I ask everyone that comes on to pick the final song that's played. So after I've edited the interview, I've mixed it all and got everything ready for the world to listen to. At the very end, on every episode, a different song is played. But the reason for that is you get to choose it. So I'm putting you on the spot, and maybe it'll come back to Guns N' Roses. I'm sure today feels like Guns N' Roses
You know
cast.
what? I was like, you're gonna the little devil on my shoulder was like, pick Black Eyed Peas, pick Black Eyed
I
Peas.
will kill you. I will
But I'm not
literally. I
gonna
will never
do
release
that.
the episode. I will never release the episode. I'll just put
I'm
a
not
tweet
gonna
out
do
saying
that to
that
you.
Red Hook are the worst band ever.
Yeah, okay, look, I won't do that to you. All right, I am
Imagine you did
fine.
now. My God, a really lovely
I know,
interview. It's going really well. The chemistry's great. It's really fun, and then it
yeah.
ends with.
We hate each other.
Yeah, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing that.
Oh my God. Do you know what? I'm tempted to pick Guns N' Roses, but I think in honor of our friend, your friend of mine, Lucas Woodland, I think that we should play some Holding Absence. So
Amazing.
I'm gonna go with Afterlife.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
chorus is unbelievable. I've seen that
It-
live, and
oh
it's
my
like
God.
to hear it at a festival, and it's just a different vibe. They just come on, and the moment that one hits, like everyone's instantly. It's like their classic, isn't it? Even though they've obviously got a huge journey ahead of them, that's their song, and it's like certain bands like Green Day have. At the moment, I'd probably say something like Basket Case is their anthem, and
Yeah, yeah.
Afterlife, the moment they kind of kick in with that, there's a different energy. The electric kind of just
Oh,
blows up, and
that song is that's just one of those songs it's just magic. It's just like it's a 10 out of 10. It's a song that I wish that I'd written. You know what I mean? It's like the chorus just coming in straight away, coming in so hot, and just
yeah,
like it just hits you, like it hits you like and it hits you in the feels. You know what I
it
mean?
does.
Like, oh, I
So
love
that's a
it. I love
chorus I
it.
want in my head, and it will be for the rest of the day instead of Black Eyed
Yes,
Peas. Like that is what
yes.
I want to be
We
singing.
we bounce back. We bounce back.
I'll be downstairs later making lunch, and I'll be like, da 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 da,
Yeah.
and that's what I want. I wanna be doing that.
Yeah, that's the energy. That's the vibe.
Awesome, Emmy. Our time is up, but I wanted to say thank you because it's been an absolute blast, and it's very early in the UK. People don't know this, but it's one of my earliest interviews. But it's worth getting up for because it feels like the
Oh,
energy is good and the vibe's good, and it's really positive. So it's been a lot of fun.
thank you so much for having me. I've had an absolute blast.
It's been awesome, and it's annoying because I didn't realize you played download and I was there doing press. But next time, if it's 2026 or whenever it is, let's
Hmm.
make sure we do this in person.
Yes, let's do it. It's on. It's on.
So there it is. There's my interview with me and Emmy Mack. How great was Emmy? So much energy, so much just passion. And it's so great to see it's all so sincere. They've done it all off their own back. All hard work, determination has got them where they are. And like I said, you need to go and check out their brand new album, Mutation. It's out now and you will not regret it. I want to give a big shout out and thanks to Hayley from Good as Gold Group for making this interview happen. Hayley is someone I respect and love so much, and she is truly one of the reasons why Mark and Me has been so successful. So thank you so much for keep on trusting in me and bringing me these amazing guests. If you've enjoyed today's episode and you're now a fan of RedHook, or you've enjoyed Emmy's interview, you're on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or TikTok, please just take a couple of minutes to share the episode. It costs you nothing to do. I ask on every episode of Mark and Me for you guys to do it because it's the only way to get the word out there and get Mark and Me growing even bigger and get more people listening to the podcast. So if you do enjoy the episodes, please just take a second to hit that share button. I do also have a Patreon account. There's a link on markandme.com. You click on that and you can sign up for as little as £2 a month. That's all it is. And in return, you get exclusive episodes just for you guys at home called The Lost Tapes. You also get a welcome pack. You get presents. You get surprise newsletters and so much more. And all that goes right back into the podcast and basically allows me to host it on all these different directories and also travel the country to record more interviews for you guys at home. No money is made from Mark and Me. I don't take any money myself. I'm an independent podcaster and put it all right back into the production of the podcast. Before I go, let's give another shout out to another sponsor of the podcast, the amazing Richer Sounds. If you're in the market to listen to someone like RedHook on a brand new stereo, get yourself some incredible new speakers, a Bluetooth speaker, some headphones, or a brand new TV or anything within audio and visual, check out richersounds.com or visit any of their high street stores. I'll be back in only 24 hours with another brand new episode of Mark and Me. So until then, listen to RedHook, look after yourself, take care, and I'll speak to you all very soon.
I know I'm out of sight, but am I out of mind? And when I close my eyes, I dream I'll see you in the afterlife. I'll pull those arrows from out of your back, one at a time. I know this bridge we built won't last, but it'll hold for at least a while. dream I see you. A dream I see you. A dream I see you. I lost a dream I see you. Lost a dream I see you. Lost a dream I see you.